What's up? Michael Gebben here, mind mechanic, tune up hearts and minds, your heart, your mind, one at a time so ideas don't die in your heart's heads and hard drives. Today, it's very simple. Every thought is a seed. If you plant crab apples, don't count on harvesting the golden, delicious, great apples, right? So this idea that what I have found in my life is it's really about expectations. See, too many times, and I've used the example, I mean, those who can watch the video part right now, but I'll speak it out for those listening. When I do this light, right, that really changes, right? The look of the background, the look of me, because I turn these lights off I have. Now, having a video production background, I have enough knowledge to do this. Would this be wrong? Right? Those in podcasts, if I never brought it up, would never even have a clue what my background looks like or my lighting on my face or any of that. But anybody who watches it live, watches it on YouTube, can see the video, right? There you go. And so too many times, if you use a lighting metaphor and you understand like LEDs, most people, most homes, a lot of people have LED light bulbs now. They're not hot like the old, I guess, incandescent bulbs. You know, they don't produce a lot of heat. They last a lot longer. And so those have certain properties that get certain types of outcomes and results. But so many times we're doing something and things like that, I get it. I brought up electric cars before. You know, if you had an electric car, you wouldn't be trying to put gas in it. If you had a gas car, you wouldn't try to put, electric power cable into it and wondering why it doesn't work. You would understand that. But I think in life, when it comes to especially building or growing a business or quitting your job and starting a business, these things is that at times we don't know what we don't know. That's okay. I feel like I was very naive in 2004, 5, and 6 when I really got my business going. And in a lot of ways, I felt it to be an advantage rather than the amount of knowledge I have today. And then the ability now, a new skill that has to be learned is to discern and be able to know what I should and shouldn't maybe do or pay attention to, because I know so much. Back then, I didn't know hardly anything at all. So I just moved forward, made progress. I fell down, I got back up, I fell down, I got back up, and I kept testing, trying, tweaking things, tossing things. And then I started to know more and more and more. But there is that aspect that at times when you don't know what you don't know, that's fine. But if you truly don't know something and you're doing something, unlike the gas-powered car, or I planted apple seeds, or I planted this, and I should be getting this, and you're not typically disappointed. But sometimes let's take a movie, TV show. Let's say it's not just a friend that's hyped it up. I'm talking the world is hyped up. This thing's been hyped for months and months and months, and you are just so freaking pumped to go see this movie. And you go and you're like, it was really good. And then what words potentially come after that? But it didn't live up to my expectations, because in your mind, you set some kind of bar. And then what reality happened, it didn't match that. And then there's disappointment. So at times, like if I use lighting, so many people, if you think to produce a laser, to produce heat, there's certain things you'd have to do or certain types of tools you'd have to use. So I wouldn't be using an LED light, a soft light, a diffused light to create harsh light and create a laser or create a lot of heat. Right? I'd need to use a different tool. So at times we're setting expectations, or we're using certain tools, or we're doing certain things, and we're expecting to get certain outcomes that it doesn't mean the outcome's not possible for you. That's a very different thing. And there's lots of ways to potentially achieve a certain outcome. But I brought up before as well, I brought like 50 metaphors, but you wouldn't typically, if you're trying to achieve a certain thing, and then you may have the expectation of why you did what you did and why you're going to get what you get, the time frame it takes to get it, which is using a butter knife to cut down a really thick tree. You wouldn't sit there and wonder, why am I not cutting this down faster? Because you have enough knowledge to know, well, a butter knife's not used to cut down a really thick tree. And that's just not the right tool. But there's still a lot of other tools you could use that would do it a little quicker. And then there's ones that could do it really fast. And some things you want to take longer and some things you want to do faster. So when you start to know, I don't know everything and I'm still learning, I'm still growing, you can recalibrate your expectations so that there's less disappointment. It doesn't mean you shouldn't dream big or small or anywhere else in between by setting your dreams, but simply by calibrating expectations and setting yourself up to where, to me, it's about progress and momentum and moving forward. And that's what I help people get to that place. because too many times, the hardest, I've said this before, but getting a train going down the track, getting it going is the hardest thing to do. Once it's going, it's hard to stop. Once it's got momentum, it's hard to stop. But so many people, your train is stuck. It's not moving. Your car's in park, right? And so it's about getting it moving and keeping it going. And so for me, progress, momentum, moving forward is more important than, we can talk about big dreams, but sometimes big dreams and the amount of information we live in this world, just talk to people or look things up and you'll see how difficult it is to achieve that dream. And so therefore you give up or you stop or you quit. Depending on how you're wired, some people are like, yes, this is going to be so difficult. I can't wait. Right. But if you're not that kind of person, if you start to break down something big and you see how many things it's going to take, how many things you don't know, I don't really like to do that, you start to go, do I really want this? Should I really even go towards it? And people tell me, you can't do that. Nobody's done that before. That's not possible. And then you lose hope. People that lose hope, they give up, they quit. So for me, it's about instilling these videos, my work one-on-one with people, my work in groups is about instilling back in people hope, belief, imagination, dreams, and getting to the point of the first point of it is belief. Believing that it's possible. When you can shift from pessimism to optimism, you start moving forward in a different way. You start taking different actions, right? And that's what it's all about. It's shifting perspective, believing that it's possible, taking the right actions, expecting this is the kind of things I could get from what I'm doing here. This is the kind of things I could get from doing here. But if you flip those, then you're going to be getting results. They could be great results, but because your expectations were so out of alignment, so out of sync, right? Even a great result looks like a bad result, right? I've seen people like, oh man, you should do $50,000 with this. And then you make 5. And if you would have calibrated properly and understood, wow, most people in this scenario actually do 1,000. You did 5, you really succeeded versus somebody else making you believe you should do $50,000 and you do 5 and you feel like a loser. And again, depending on how you're wired, you may give up. But that ability to shift and understand, what are you doing? I got a gas-powered car, I put gas in it, right? I got an electric car, I plug it into a charger, right? I'm going to cut down a tree, let's go find a chainsaw, right? And so you start shifting expectations, calibrating the tools you're using so that you get in alignment, so that your expectations, the tools you're using, the amount of action you're taking, these things you can set up. So when you get a result, some type of result, you're always going to get a result. Even doing nothing is a decision that produces a result, which is typically nothing, depending on what it is, right? And so you start getting that stuff in sync, and now you're not so morbidly disappointed by the actions you're taking and the results you're getting, which then lead to less action, which typically lead to less results, which typically lead to dissatisfaction and disappointment. So we can get you taking action, getting results, and going, awesome, let's do another thing. Let's do another thing. Right? You get results, you take actions, you get results, you start shifting your beliefs. And before you know it, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, 5 years have passed. And rather than your dreams still being simply in your imagination, these dreams start to become in your reality. And no longer an imagination, but something visually that you can see and touch and feel and experience, not just in your mind, but in your real world. But it starts with knowing, if I don't have this light on, this is what it looks like. I can't be disappointed that it doesn't look like somebody else who has this. If this is all you have right now, that's okay. But no need to be disappointed that you don't have this, because you don't have this, right? At like $80 in lights. I mean, I had from a production company, and I did it with light bulbs that were LEDs with the little silver things you can buy for $8, right? So $40 each, or even $10 or $15 each. This isn't, I mean, there's people on YouTube right now who are like, look at my setup, it's so awesome. And it's like $5,000. I think it's like a $20 piece of wood behind me, 20, 30 bucks. We got $80 in lights. Like when you start breaking it all down, like everything, I shouldn't have said 5,000, but everything's, probably a couple thousand. My laptop being the most expensive thing out of any of it, which is like 2013 MacBook Air, 1,300, $1,400 bucks. So maybe a couple thousand out of everything in this current setup. I'm talking somebody's lights are $2,000 or $3,000 and their laptop's $5,000 and their lights in the background and background things are $3,000. And so the setup you're looking at with this person is $10,000 or $15,000 or $20,000. And I've learned it's the wizard, not the wand. And so yes, tools matter, while simultaneously there could be chainsaws that are $5,000 and there could be chainsaws that are $50. I mean, you might watch, I don't know enough about chainsaws, but potentially the $50 chainsaw by and large could do the same thing and get the same result, right? A car can go from point A to point B, even if you're in a junker. Some are more reliable, some are faster, some are quicker, 0 to 60, better gas mileage. There's a lot of variables. Just like in the actions you're going to take and the things you're going to do and the tools that you use and the expectations you set, there are variables. But the main variables to pay attention to are the variables that have you have a perspective that allows you to get a result, observe it, and not look at yourself as good, bad, indifferent. I am excellent. I'm not. I suck. This is, but simply that you took an action, you got a result. What did you learn from it? And that you can continue to make, forward progress, or as some say, fail forward. I like to be fall forward. A lot of people fail and it is what it is, but I like to fall because when you fall, you can get back up. A lot of times when people think they're failing, they don't get back up. Because the more you program your mind to believe you are a failure, you are a loser, and you suck, the less likely you are to put your car in park and drive. So put your car in drive and drive, move forward and observe and look for signs and signals and keep moving forward. You can take stops along the way. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So does a train, so does a car. But know that you can get back in, put it in drive and move forward. Appreciate you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your attention. Michael Gebben here. Check out mindtuneuptimelive.com. Every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, I do a live session on Zoom. You can register there and do some coaching sessions with new people every week. Because I love tune up hearts and minds one at a time so your ideas don't die in your heart sets and hard drives. But I also say when I hear you, I can help you. And one of my favorite things is to actually connect and interact and hear someone and help bring that extra dose of clarity and confidence to their life so that they can move forward. And so if that's of interest to you, go check out mindtuneuptimelive.com. And thanks for enjoying your daily jumpstart. Keep rocking, keep rolling. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.